Hi Martine. Really thank you today for coming and having a chat with us. We really are grateful for the opportunity to speak to you about your journey with the IMA over the years. But first, to say as well, a big thank you. Thanks for your invaluable support over the years. You've been a huge support to the IMA and the maths community, of course. You've been Vice President of the Learning Society and Chair of the Branches Committee, and lots of hats being put on over the years as well in various different things. So we are really, really grateful. And of course, bringing a wealth of knowledge and expertise. So a really big thanks for that. So Martine, if it's okay with you, we would love to hear in your own words how you started volunteering for the IMA. And why, and a little bit about yourself and maybe about your involvement over the years.
Okay, well, just to get the about me stuff out of the way. So I'm currently Director of the Applied Statistics and Risk Unit at the University of Warwick. I'm a reader in statistics. And what I do then is I do my own research, but I also interface with business, government and industry as a knowledge exchange hub for my department. So we do lots of projects with business and industry, which is very appropriate for the IMA because we are interested in mathematicians, not just in industry, not just in academia, but also in industry. This is not an academics club. It's a mathematicians club for everybody. And that's what really interests me because I had a background in business before I did my maths degree and became an academic. So really understanding how that works for business, how important it is for business to understand the fact that business works at a different timescale from academia. This is all very familiar to me. So that's important in my job, but it's also something that I can kind of bring that often academics don't have. So it's a very happy sort of confluence of various different experiences in my life. Yeah. So having done my degree at Coventry University as a mature student, as I was about to leave, one of my lecturers said to me, "You should join the IMA." And he had, and various others I did have as well on the office doors, "I'm a member of the IMA." And so I thought, okay, well, if my lecturer, my esteemed lecturer, thinks I should join the IMA, then I probably should. And so I went ahead and did that, and was very happy. I think the magazine's been revamped since then. It's a little bit more modern than it was when I first joined. It feels a little bit like a club where you were coming in but you didn't actually know anybody, because a lot of the articles were about particular people who'd been in the IMA a good while, and you think, well, I don't know who they are, so this isn't so interesting for me. But yeah, so I was very pleased about that. I got involved in some early career stuff, which again was very influential for me because there were not only interesting talks, but there were also development opportunities. I remember taking part in something called Facilitation of Skill for Life that was run at an ECM conference. And I remember somebody doing something on CVs and talking about having a resume and a CV. And I think, I can't remember which way around he said it, but one of them was like the database, and the other one was the query on the database that you made for a particular job or role that you were applying for. That was just really, really good information for me, and something that I've been able to lean into quite a lot in my job. Branches wise, there wasn't a West Midlands branch, and I was kind of a little bit envious of the East Midlands branch because they seem to be having an awful lot of fun, lots of very interesting talks. And I did try and get over there occasionally, but it was a good hour's drive after work to just arrive there, and that was quite tricky. And so I kind of bemoaned the fact that there wasn't actually a West Midlands branch, or there had been and there wasn't at the current time. And then Nigel Steele, who was also at Coventry and I knew from there, introduced me to Andy Harrison, who was also keen that there should be a West Midlands branch. And between us, we got the branch up and running. And I can't even remember how long ago that was, but I was definitely a PhD student at the time, so it was probably 15 years, maybe.
Yeah, wow. And it's still going strong, which is great.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, we were keen to have the kind of fun that the East Midlands were having. So yeah, we were keen for this, and this was really great. And we recruited some great colleagues at Aston and at Birmingham to help us run them. And yeah, so we have a good, strong committee.
Yeah.
We have lots and lots of interesting speakers. And then when Nigel Steele decided it was time for him to step down as branches chair, he asked me to do that job. So I've been doing that for a good while as well.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed doing that because actually to me the branches are really important because that's where you get to meet face-to-face people who are in your locale. And I can't tell you how many sort of interesting conversations, discussions about jobs and opportunities, collaborations that I've had with people that I've met at branch meetings. It's been a really good time. The highlight of my career probably at that point was actually I was speaking at an ECM event at Birmingham, and I was on the same billing as Hannah Fry.
Ah, nice.
Yes, but her
And she's
public
now president, but
she's
yes.
now president, and yes, I think her it's fair to say that her public engagement career has taken off faster than mine has. But that's fine. She does a brilliant job. She does a
Yeah,
brilliant
she's
job.
somewhat of a celebrity for sure now, isn't she? And what a lovely lady. You did get to meet her at the evening at Greenwich. That, yeah.
Yes, she's an absolute delight. She's an
Yeah.
absolute delight. So yeah, so that was really interesting, and I was glad to do those. Interested in the talks, but of course you meet the speakers and you go out for dinner and this kind of thing. It's a chance to say I'm really interested in hearing this person or that person. So when Andy decided he wanted to step back a little bit, I became the chair of that. I was chair of branches, so so that was how things rumbled on for a while, and then. I started getting invitations to do more things in the IMA. So I got the invitation to be vice president for Learning Society, and so I took that on. I've been there, as you said, nearly 4 years now, coming to the end of my term now, and that comes with an additional interest in being part of the chairing actually the research committee. There are committees where we have overlaps in sort of areas of interest, so it means I get to go along to the Journal's Board of Management as a member of the research committee, so that the interests for the research committee can be fed into the journals and vice versa, so that we're working in a coordinated way. And that's always a very interesting time. And very often we go up to Oxford University Press. Is it in Oxford, and have it? That's very pretty, and have a nice meeting there. Always good to see people. And then at some point I made some comments pertinent to the finance committee because I had a background in accountancy, and so they asked me to join that as well. And I have joined that, and of course, being vice president comes with being part of the executive board and council. So there's quite a lot of things. And over the years, one thing I've been asked to do was to do a review of the how the study groups are organised and governed. So we did a governance review on that and offered some perspective on what kind of governance would be useful in that scenario. It's one thing to have something that's informal and is run by the same old people, but eventually they're going to want to retire. And then how do we look after, make sure that valuable thing is captured and goes forward in a way that's going to be have lifelong stuff. Also got involved through the IMA in sort of reviewing the bond report and sort of making the case for a refreshment of that report, sort of bringing it up to date and so on. So because you're at those meetings, there are all these other interesting jobs you get to do or to get to volunteer for or be nominated for and fail to say no fast enough or something of that nature. And because of that, again, I've been part of CMS. The Council for Mathematical Sciences, which is a cross between the IMA and the RSS and the OR Society and the LMS and somebody else. There's 5 or 6 societies, isn't there?
Yes, I can't think of the last one now off the top of my head. Is it the CBS or something? CSB?
Maybe. But again, very interesting to sort of think about mathematical sciences at a national level with perspectives from the different bodies. I'm also a member of the RSS. Being in a statistics department, that's not surprising. And I have considerable interest in OR, but I haven't joined the society yet. So that was always a very interesting meeting. And then, of course, coming out of that, I'm part of the Academy for Mathematical Sciences, trying to set that up and doing some of the thinking around who should be a fellow, what are we looking for in fellows. So it's just kind of grown from, I want some interesting talks at a local level to, okay, we're dealing with this national level issue here and this national level issue here, and getting to hear and to hear more about what's going on more broadly in the sector. And I feel now that I'm part of the mathematical sciences community in the UK, because there are people in the UK broadly that are not necessarily working in my research area, but I still know them.
Yeah.
So, when you're traveling for any reason, there's always somebody you can meet up with.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely a friendly face in the crowd that I know, the mathematical people now. I'm like, oh, Martine, because yeah, there's, as you say, it's the same from like some familiar faces that like kind of shape the community and really kind of give their expertise back and really help, like as you say, with policies or journals and lots of different things that's happening. So would you say that the IMA has helped you kind of progress with your volunteering roles? Do you think that's helped you in your career progression over the years?
Well, absolutely. I think because as an academic, getting involved in the mathematical sciences community or your research community is something you are expected to do, and it can start with just reviewing other people's papers for a journal, or you can take on an editorship. But actually having this wider reach, this wider network has been, when I've been trying to fill in the form for promotion, a lot of the things I've been putting in there about involvement at national level. I was part of the small group that did the Maths Manifesto for the election, for example.
Yeah.
And that is a very valuable indicator on a CV and on a promotion application, that actually, that you are fulfilling that kind of criteria. Not sure how that would work so much in an industry situation, but certainly for an academic, those things are kind of expected. Yeah. And they're an indicator of how you're held in high esteem. The other thing we have to do is to provide a relatively long list of senior names for people to review our applications, particularly as we climb the ladder. Yeah. And having those connections across the country and internationally, indeed, a lot of them through the IMA, gives me a pool to draw on. So definitely, I don't think I'd have been promoted as fast if I hadn't been a member of the IMA and known all these people.
Yeah, and I guess a personal development for sure as well, which is obviously even sometimes more important as well, that you feel that you're getting that satisfaction, or you feel you're getting a lot from giving back as well, and that's certainly appreciated from our side for sure as well. I guess the kind of last question, because obviously there's a lot that's covered there, would be if you had like one piece of advice to give, like I guess early careers mathematicians, or not early careers, just mathematicians kind of looking to kind of get to the next level, or just kind of finding they're not so much stuck, but maybe how to kind of get yourself a little bit more out there and involved and be part of the maths community a little bit, what would you give? What piece of advice could you give?
I would say that it is possible, but to be too insular. And if you're only interacting with people who are doing the same kind of work that you're doing, then what you lose out on are other perspectives and ideas. So very often the greatest advances come when kind of sub-disciplines meet and talk to each other, or there's a crossover from one to the other. And this I believe is the same in industry as well. So having these different perspectives and being exposed to different people with different kind of approaches to things really enriches you as a person, but it enriches you in your work life. So the sort of the intensive volunteering at my level is not for everyone.
Yeah.
But get involved in your branch.
Yeah, even just networking, isn't it? And just kind of meeting other people that's in the same space, and that like-minded people into the same line of kind of interests and topics is definitely, as you said, can be, really nurturing. And
and if that's not good for you in terms of perhaps you're a carer or whatever, the timing doesn't work for you. Well, what about the virtual maths teas? That's another way of networking at lunchtime.
Yeah.
You know, you're entitled to a lunch break, and
Yeah.
you know, whoever's employing you and getting involved that way, and you get this kind of cross-disciplinary, sort of cross academic and industry group that you
Yeah.
can have a chat with on a topic of interest, which might be sort of more of a general interest at organizational something, or it might be something quite specific. But there's a whole range of different topics at the virtual maths teas, and I've always enjoyed them very much.
Yeah, they are
So
really.
there's another opportunity there. And since lockdown, most of the branches are running online, so you can do online attendance as well. And I think that's important for inclusion as well, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of ways you can get involved. Giving a talk, attending a talk, you know, helping on the committee to just go to a couple of meetings a year and suggest people. You know, if you are at an organisation where you can have rooms for free, maybe you can host one. You know, that's a bit more involvement. But there's a whole level of levels of involvement that you don't have to be sort of super available. You can just dip your toe in, and there's no pressure to be anything more than you can be at that particular stage in your life.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think, yeah, you can do as little or as much really, because there's always opportunities. We're always, as well, in the IMA, open to ideas of people having new ideas or, giving suggestions. And of course, they're always welcomed as well. But no, that's great, Martine. I don't know whether if you want to add anything else, but that's been really interesting insight into your journey with volunteering and all your different hats that you've played over the years as well.
Yeah, so just back at the IMA, thank you for the opportunities that being part of the IMA has given me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being part of this mathematical community for a good while yet, and meeting
Yeah.
even more interesting
Yeah,
people.
we definitely want to keep you on board on some level. We can't let you go. But yeah, I know you have too many hats, so we have appreciated all the hats you've been putting on over the years. So that is great. We are really grateful for that. But yeah, thank you so much for today and the chat. And yeah, exciting for your next chapter now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martine.